What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Wallet Monkey channel where we give you all the credit intel you need to grow your wallet. Today, I got this screenshot sent to me. You're seeing it in front of you. I wanted to go through this and talk about it. I have no clue whose this is, so take this as a grain of salt. I'm not even sure if this is real. I mean, it looks real. And to whoever it is out there, if this is yours, I hope you're watching this video. So it looks like this is Credit Karma. We've got the traditional 2 credit numbers at the top, 2 credit scores across the top, and then we've got a combination of the breakdowns underneath, which it looks like they did a little copy pasta to get this all in one graphic here. I don't know if this was, and again, I have no clue what context this was shared in. This is actually a mind-blowing breakdown. It's simply because, let's pay attention to the bottom here. I have no clue how this is even possible. I have no clue how you go out and get yourself 56 to 60 accounts. It also means with 20 inquiries that they haven't done the latest cleanup, which means that they've been pushing hard. And so that means that they also do aggressive cleanup on their reports. And I've met people like this before. There's all kinds of different people in the credit space, right? And there are people who run out and then they try and get approved and then they remove the hard inquiry and they think that, oh, everything's fine. I think that people are kind of missing the big boat, missing the bigger picture on that, which we'll get into more later. But understand that you can clean up hard inquiries all you want. It doesn't mean that the bank forgets about it or that all of a sudden it's gone and it's poof, it didn't happen. It still happened. When you're being this aggressive with your accounts and your credit allocation, I mean, you're asking for trouble. And so we can tell that they've been aggressive because the average credit age is thinned down now all the way to just shy of 2 years. From the looks of it, it looks like they had longer credit age, maybe 5 years-ish. I don't know, maybe longer. And it would depend on how many accounts they had before and how many new accounts they've got, which we don't have that information in front of us. But from the looks of it, it looks like they've been pretty aggressive, right? This is a prime example of what not to do. Is what I'm getting at. But why though? The only reason why these scores are this high is because these 3 items right here. And I would say mostly number 2. Now, the minute that this person goes out and starts using some of these 56 to 60 accounts, I'm telling you now, the score is gonna plummet. It's gonna take an absolute dump. And the reason why is because there's way too much action on this report, recent action. And so the only reason why the credit score is high is because they've essentially just manipulated the scoring system to show these good numbers. But again, the minute that this stuff starts getting used, I don't know, 20 to 50 point dump, because the age is so shallow and there's so much recent activity that it's gonna catch up. That begs the question, why even do this then? What is the point? In my opinion, this is a great example of somebody who kind of just goes off the deep end and goes nuts. And whether they're testing a bunch of stuff or they're just obsessed with, collecting cards and saying they got approved just for the sake of collecting cards and saying they got approved, or something in between there, right? That's what it looks like to me. Is somebody that is collecting these things like baseball cards, and that's not really what you want to do with credit. So credit, I think a better way to look at it would be you have to set your end goal. How much credit do you want personal? How much credit do you want business? And then we can just keep duplicating that over and over and over again on the business side with each new business that we open. Every new LLC or entity that we open, we can start from scratch and build up all over again. When that is so good and there's so many cards you can get, why would you waste all this time and destroy the foundation and the base? We have to look at personal credit as the foundation, because if we got a personal credit good, we just go PG everything, personal guarantor, everything on the business side and get that up and running. And we can go get 5 to 50K in credit right now if the business has no revenue. If it's got revenue, then chances are we don't even have to PG, because every single new fintech is based on linking up your bank account or showing proof that the business is making money. So if the business is actually making money, we don't even need the personal credit. But it is our foundation, especially in the beginning of these brand new businesses, and trying to get credit there is that's where it all starts, man. That's what it all comes back to. So this is absolute insanity to me to go out and do something like this, because you've essentially just thrashed your personal credit for a really long time. I mean, a couple years, maybe. Just sit and garden and let all this just cool down and slowly take out those inquiries, remove 2 to 3 a month, so that's not super aggressive. Then you gotta let this season up. And in the meantime, you gotta understand is that you're not using any of these cards. So now we've got the other end and the other issue that starts to creep up, which is that these cards start to get closed due to inactivity. Discover's big for this, but bigger banks can do it as well. And definitely your lower tier, let's call them store credit cards, which I assume there's a lot of store credit cards on this. That's what I would assume is comprising a lot of these total accounts. Those will close due to inactivity, or you'll get balance reductions, credit limit reductions rather. And then the other thing we got to talk about is, okay, if I have to now forced to garden for like 2 to 3 years minimum, will I see another recession in that time? Because again, that calls into question even more aggressive credit limit reductions that you might get. Because if you're not using these cards and then we see a global recession during that time, then banks are really gonna cut limits. So then what was the point of all of this? I guess I come back to that question, and I don't know. Like, what is the point of doing all this if you essentially can't even really use the credit? And it's not, I would argue that what they've gone and gotten is not really what they needed. So let's focus on what you need and set up core relationships at those banks and get key cards that we need for our business to thrive. Domestic cards, international cards, cards with no fees, cards with fees, cards with huge rewards points, cards with travel rewards points, cards with every piece of our personal life or business that we need help with. And let's just cultivate and grow those. That being said, now to answer another question that you might be thinking about, well, what is a good total amount of accounts? I don't know, but what I would say is if it's more than you can manage, and if you find yourself running into cards getting closed and limits getting reduced because you're not using the cards, I would argue you probably got too many. I don't know about your bandwidth personally, but my bandwidth puts me at about somewhere between 4 to 6 cards, that I can kind of safely manage, and that's across maybe 2 to 3 institutions. I would say, well, not maybe, but 2 to 3 institutions comfortably. 3 to 5 maybe is on the maybe end. Because that's another thing to think about is once you're getting into trying to keep all these cards alive, are you really going to be logging into, now you got to understand total accounts, that doesn't mean that these are all revolving, all credit cards. Are you going to really be logging into 40, 50 institutions every single month for that like $5, $10 purchase to keep the card alive? Or on auto bill? I guess auto bill would be the way to go with that. And they might give you a reduction on APR for having automated billing set up. But yeah, it's just, that would be a lot to manage. That would be an absolute lot to manage. I just think that there's more efficient ways to build out a great credit score, and more importantly, a good allocation of credit limit that you have access to. Myself, other people in the community that we're now growing have done this differently, with a whole lot less accounts, a whole lot less headaches, and we're right around the same credit scores. If not, some people are higher. Like I know people in the 800s that, yeah, got a lot of cards, got a full stack of cards, but they're nowhere near 60, right? So again, grain of salt, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this madness? Comment below, let me know what you think. If I missed something, let me know in the comment section. And if you want this video to get in front of more people because you think it's educational, you think it's high value, whatever, click the like button. You know the algorithm game, and that helps this get in front of more people. If you're brand new here and you like personal finance, talking about credit cards, building credit, all this fun stuff, well, join us, my friends. Click the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, turn it to all, and be on the lookout. More videos coming soon.